All right, we looking good. All right, everything looks good. Hi there.
Yay!
Welcome to Films and Fandoms with Kaylee. And welcome to another episode of the podcast. So, this episode, we are once again joined by Alex.
Hi. I was like, is she gonna say it? Is she gonna introduce me or not?
It's been such a crazy couple weeks, okay?
True.
I've both been working, which is why it's been a while since we've actually done one of these.
Yeah. I actually got my first official paycheck last week.
Ooh. Nice.
Didn't even know it. My mom knew before I did.
Hey.
That ain't fair.
At least you got paid.
Exactly. It's more than what I thought.
Yes, I have chocolate candy. Because the episode we're talking about, I got this Kai and blueberry dark chocolate. Because the episode we're talking about is I didn't even say what episode we're freaking doing. We are talking Leverage, Season 1, Episode 6, The Stork Job, which, as we will come to discover on this episode, is a very important pretzels episode. Damn it, I should have had pretzels. I need to get pretzels.
I know. I should have done this earlier, but whatever.
Oh, you got the bandana.
Yeah, well, my hair was falling in my face, so there. I look like Elliot now.
See what happens when we don't do this for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right, so before we actually get
one
into
of my favorites. This is, again, one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah. So before we get into this episode, oh yeah, lots of reasons.
Yep.
So first, I would like to thank our parent company, napco.org, our electrical design consultants, westpasystems.com, and you can follow me on my website at kaylasantelacting.com. So, as I said, the episode we are talking about is Leverage, Season 1, Episode 6, The Stork Job. And a bit of a summary before we get started. The job hits a little close to home for Parker when the team has to find a war orphan and have to fake a movie in the process. The director for this episode is Marc Roskin. The writers for this episode are John Rodgers, Chris Downey, and Albert Kim, who, as we will find out, has a relative in this episode, and I'll get into that later. This episode aired January 6th, 2009. So, yeah, and on the DVD, this is technically episode 9, which, again, we kind of talked about this before with the whole switching of the order. But it's kind of obvious that this episode is supposed to be later because just some of the character development's a bit different than you would expect for.
Yeah. When I first watched it, I was like, wait a minute, something's weird. And it didn't kind of click in my head that it's supposed to be later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I immensely enjoyed this episode.
I did too.
Specifically for a certain cowboy There's a reason.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one hint. What? That's one hint.
Yep.
Second involves like, Parker.
Yeah, it piqued my interest a little bit. I'm like, huh, what's going on? I'm confused.
Oh. We'll get into that. We'll get into a funny story. But first, we have our opening. This opening is one of the more definitely chilling, I think, because it opens with someone getting beat up.
Yeah. This episode, for me, it's one of the more darker episodes that they've covered.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying it for both series, the original and Redemption.
Well,
the writers do an immensely
I was going to say the one episode literally starts off with a hate crime, but
but still, but this is just incredible how they're able to channel that dark like theme that they want to come up with, and they run with it. And the first time I watched this episode, it freaked me out.
Yeah. Well, I think I know why this episode has a more darker tone to it. And honestly, I think it's because it involves kids.
Yeah.
With the whole adoption scam that our bad girl, this episode, Irina Larenko, who's played by Kathleen Gotti, I think's how you say her name. And also with Nicholas Petrovic, who is played by David S. Lee, who would go on to appear on The Librarians in season 3. He's Moriarty. He's Moriarty. So I can't remember if Moriarty and Jake have any interaction, but I do know he has some interactions with our Mr. Wilson, who will meet in Redemption. Duchess.
He's just they do in Librarians that episode where they're basically screwing with each other mentally. That's what's kind of happening in this episode.
Yeah. A little bit. But going back to what I started saying, I think because the episode takes on a bit of a darker tone because it involves kids.
Yeah, and that's like
because before the episodes have all been like more financial crimes.
Yeah, more
like you had the Nigerian job, which was like stocks.
Yeah, it was,
I mean, that's the whole burning, but like most of it involved was more financial than like people got hurt and horses. I mean, because 2 horses did get burned, but there was still like a monetary aspect to the con.
Yeah.
But the fact that like children are involved and there's not any monetary value.
Yeah.
With this.
There's a little bit of a motive, a little bit, a payoff. So they're basically, what she's basically doing is human trafficking at its finest. A little bit.
Yeah.
A little. With kids
I mean, I'm not 100% clear on like the textbook definition, but
it's taking the kids from one
place. I'm sure an argument could be made that it is.
Yeah, but this brought up the many, in my mind, I didn't write it down, but the many like scams and stuff that are going on. One of which can be an adoption scam like this.
Yeah. And I think it's also the fact that it's like an adoption scam, like targeting couples
who are wanting to adopt children to start their family.
Yeah. Because this is kind of more personal to me. because the fact like the only way I would like be able to like have a kid is to like adopt. So like
Yeah, I'm on the. I've actually lived through the adoption.
yeah, I was gonna
Thing.
say
Yeah, it's personal for me.
yeah. So
But
but
yeah,
it's
it's
not
like,
even like
and it's also personal for our girl Parker.
yes.
You can see it on her face. And we'll get
But
into
yeah.
like that
Because
little
we get into
bit.
the because after the whole client meeting we get into the briefing. Which even in the client meeting, the fact that like the reason that our victims, Dana and Joe Morton, even approach Arena is because Joe had got busted in college on like a small pot charge.
Yeah, which
Like,
was bogus.
yeah,
They basically said that it was innocent. It was something that he did in college.
like it was small, like stupid
Yeah,
kid stuff is what she
yeah,
tells Nate.
yeah. And Nate can kind of understand that. He's like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So they're
But so
disqualified.
that's why this even happened in the first place.
Yeah, because
So,
they got disqualified because of his pot charge. Although since it was when he was a kid, it technically could have gotten that expunged from his record.
I'm not familiar with that, so I'm not going to speak on like how.
Well,
like,
I know
if,
from
yeah.
a little bit of research and stuff that I've done is like, yeah, they could have gotten it expunged for a fee of like $50, I think. They could have gotten his record sealed because it was, if it happened when he was a kid, that means he was probably 17.
Oh,
So
college.
therefore, they could have gotten it expunged because it was a one-time offense.
Yeah.
Because I did delved into that a little bit just for the heck of it because I have an interest in law a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I wonder what the statute of limitations on a pot charge would be, and it's not that much, not that long.
Because if it's
And
like stupid kid stuff, I'm just assuming like he just had it on him.
Petition the court. Yeah, you can petition the court to get it expunged.
Like he had
No
enough
matter
on
how
him to
old you
get
are.
him busted. But like,
Yeah, but didn't serve jail time. Therefore, he could still be able to adopt.
but he still had that charge.
Yeah. Now, if it would be different if he actually served time for like a month or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. It's like you could tell just by the little clip before they meet with Nate how desperate they sounded and wanting kids.
Yeah, because like the fact that they flew
voice.
all the way to Syria or Serbia.
Yep. Serbia.
Serbia. Jesus, I'm so sorry. Serbia. To like confront Arena. That shows like that they do care. All right, so go into the briefing. And of course, what Dana asked for is Luca. They want Luca back because Arena had taken Luca.
Yeah. Okay. The way she said it was our Luca, and that knife to the heart.
I know.
It hurt. It hurt. It really, really deeply hurt.
Okay. I promised my partner that I wouldn't get rambly and that I would keep this shorter because I got in trouble last time. And I got to get up at 5 a.m.
And I also got in trouble too. She scolded me too. They scolded me too. And so did you. We're like, yeah, we need to keep this short.
Yeah,
we talked about it. But yeah, they scolded me.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try. I promise.
No promises.
All right, fair enough. But the main part that I wanted to talk about this episode is when we get to the briefing and we see Elliot's face is all busted up.
Yep.
And I've told this story before, but I'll say it again.
No, come
So
on.
basically, this is like a last minute line because Elliot, like Nate goes to sit down and like they're all expressing interest, like, or they're all expressing that they're apprehensive about stealing a kid. Elliot's like really fucking busted up. Like I'm talking like split lip. He's got like
he's got like
stuff on his
actual
nose. He's got
and
like
bruise
on his cheek. Like he's really busted
pretty
up.
decent sized bruise too, and
Yeah.
then he's got like a little scuff mark
And
on
Nate
his
just
nose.
kind of looks at him like, "What happened to you?" And Elliot's like, "How was I supposed to know it was a lesbian bar?" Which, okay, let me say why that line's
he
funny.
he got growly with it too, and he looked at him like, "I'm gonna kill you."
So okay, there's two explanations for this. Elliot either got the shit beat out of him because he was defending a lesbian he was being harassed,
yeah,
or Elliot got the shit beat out of him by a lesbian
probably
and just
the
let
latter,
himself get beat up
because it's a woman.
Because it's a woman.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't gonna hit a girl unless they deserve it.
But I don't know like which ones. But he probably went with the how was I supposed to know it was a lesbian bar to keep up that I'm cool and a ladies man bravado. But
and what nickname did CK get because of this?
Oh yes,
the stupid thing that he did.
Because fucking Oklahoma. Because I'm gonna say again what happened. Christian, it was a late night poker game with Timothy Hutton and Sal Rubinek. Christian, being Okie boy, had his cowboy boots on. You know, he's playing little poker with the boys, probably having a little bit of Jack, beer, whatever his vice was that day.
And probably Jack. Like we know him. It was probably straight Jack.
It's probably straight Jack. But he had his cowboy boots on and he decided that it would be a good idea to go out back and toss the football around. And then he slipped on the pavement because he was wearing cowboy boots and ate shit and busted his face all up. Uh-oh. Oh, no. No. I like where did you go? Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Hold on. Technical difficulties. Hold up. Sorry. Hold up. Technical difficulties. Hold on. Sorry. We've got technical difficulties. Hit pause. Come on. You're fine. All right, hold on. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Hang on. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Hold up. Hold on. Hold on. Oh no. Hold on. Hold on a sec, let Nylox back on. Hold on. What you got? I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Come on. There we go.
I don't know what it did. It glitched out of me. I need hard signal. Or B, for that matter.
I'm gonna say it. Okay. So, before I was interrupted. So basically, yeah, that was why he's all beat up in that scene, is because he ate shit on the pavement. But what's funnier is in the audio commentary, John Rodgers said, like, shit kicker has a genetic component because he healed, like, super quick and literally, like, he peeled the scab off and was, like, good to go. And they had, like, prosthetics and stuff. But
Oh, man.
he had some, like, Wolverine healing factor going on.
True. No, actually, no. He had, like, Captain America level healing at this point.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how the hell? And
it's them shit kicker genes.
Yep. And you know the saying, if you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough.
Yep. That's kind of that's Christian. Yep.
But yeah,
Well, to be fair, he is tough.
Yeah, I've actually pulled a fucking Oklahoma before.
Sorry, Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did some dumb shit, but we love you.
Yes. And we love him for it.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't see this.
Okay. I'm sorry, Christian. I promise we love you.
We apologize in advance.
Yes.
But
moving on. So.
A little segue, because you brought up the fucking Oklahoma thing. I have to tell the story because it's freaking hilarious, but it goes along with the fucking Oklahoma. I was doing an adult Easter egg hunt. I am an adult. I am of age. You know where this is going, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing cowboy. Yeah. I was wearing cowboy boots and jeans because I wanted to, and they're freaking comfortable as hell.
Yeah.
And we were running around trying to find the eggs and like little bottles of booze and whatnot. And I go.
Hence why it was an adult Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, go find this little bottle of Fireball underneath this bush, and I slip and land on my knees on the ground hard, like full on, full body weight, full 125 pounds of me hits the ground, and I immediately start laughing.
When you told me what you had done?
I was like, I pulled a fucking Oklahoma, and it was like, what did you ask? Like, did you learn your lesson? I'm like, yes.
I was like, what did you do?
I'm like, I slipped wearing cowboy boots.
And I was like,
doing an adult
did you not learn anything from fucking Oklahoma?
I'm like, no. And in my defense, cowboy boots are comfortable.
Oh. Cameron. Sorry, I'm looking at the Twitter stream.
Oh, God.
Cameron, my partner, is currently in the chat.
Oh, God.
And Cameron said, you guys know full well the cast could see this. Kayla keeps tagging them in her tweets.
Shush.
That is true.
I am really red right now.
It's okay. All right. We're moving on.
See, I told you I'm really red. Oh my God. But yeah,
Okay,
I
we're
pulled
moving
it.
on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what
Yeah,
popped
you
into
pulled
my
a
head.
fucking
when I
Oklahoma.
said fucking-
Well, to be fair, I've pulled a couple of fucking Oklahoma. I scratched a
Yep,
wrist on
I did.
cardboard.
Yep, and then I cut myself.
Cut my finger on cardboard. Cut my hand
I've
on
done that too.
porcelain.
Yeah, I cut my fingers a couple days ago on a chopper. Didn't even flinch. Didn't even feel it. So I just felt a stinging pain in this finger right here, my ring finger, and I'm like, ow. Yeah, I don't flinch.
And for those of you
now.
who don't know, or who don't work in a, who do or have worked in a restaurant, what Alex is referring to is this metal. It's like a metal. It's basically like a large, like sharp grate that this huge metal contraption that's heavy as hell that you push down to like cut things. At my restaurant, or the
it's
restaurant I used to work
yeah,
at, we
yeah,
used it for the lemons.
yeah. The little, the little. You guys probably have seen like the little baby choppers. It's basically an industrial sized version of that. It's big. It's about like this tall, from the top and bottom, like that, and then it has the sides like this that stand up. And I was moving that bottom part, that flat part, over to get more space to pick it up to move it off to the side so it could cool down all the way. And I didn't see where my hand went. I grabbed the slider part too close to where the Sharpie stabby bits were, and I cut 3 fingers.
Bits.
Yeah, literally, it stabbed me. And I went to pull it, and then I just felt that pain. I'm like, I immediately froze. I knew I did something, but I didn't know what happened. And then I just looked down, and I see blood on my ring finger, and I'm like, crap.
Yeah, that's about what happened to me too when I cut my hand on porcelain.
Yeah, and the worst part was that we had to run that thing through the dishwasher again, so it got hot again, and I was freaking pissed.
Oh yeah.
I scolded it. Me and my training partner both scolded it, and it didn't hurt me after that. We talked to it. We scolded it and said, "You ain't gonna hurt me no more." No, bad.
I do that. I was on FaceTime camera set up, and you should have seen me rushing trying to get this ready.
Mad dash, was it?
Yep.
I'm doing the hair thing that Christian always does.
But you know what? I did it. And Harrison would be proud.
He'd be laughing at me right now because of my stupidity. And Elliot would be glaring at me. He'd be doing the face like the one
he'd be doing
you.
The face. He'd be doing the face.
Like the one that's behind you. Yeah. He'd be doing that. And I'd be doing this.
Alright. Yep. Alright, we gotta move on.
But yeah.
We gotta keep going so we can get through all this. But yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
So but like Parker is basically saying about like why like how they know that like this kid's an orphan, and but like her final look when she says like when she touches him, he's expected for her to trust me, he's an orphan. But then like Harrison like looks at Parker and it's this look
as
like
a
oh shit.
Like, yeah, I wrote down one final note on that. I have that written down where she talks about that. I wrote that her knowledge of the fact that she could spot an orphan
Just because she
fact that
was
she can
one.
recognize that. Wait a minute, that looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I said that the fact that she points out that he's pocketing food, that's a sign that he's scared that the food's going to be taken away
Mm-hmm.
as punishment. So that tells me that she's had that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And like a go bag.
yeah. Yeah, and then I put the little thing where you mentioned it, like he's expecting her to, and she doesn't finish because she just
Yeah,
like
she's kind
tenses
of like.
up and like looks down, and
It almost also looks
I
like she's disassociating a bit.
a little bit, yeah, like it's like a mini PTSD episode.
Yeah.
Because it triggered it a little bit in her mind.
Yeah,
And
disassociating's part of PTSD.
A little bit, yeah. And I put below that she's got experience. And the fact, I noticed like 3 different things. One, her body language changed after she said that.
Yeah, she's more
2,
rigid.
Yeah, she stiffens but looks down toward the table. 2, Elliot has his eyes locked on her, like he's kind of in shock, but also wondering what she's going to do next. And then 3, the dad of the group, kind of / older brother, Hardison is like staring at her, confused but also understanding. And then there's Nate. Nate's just staring at her like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of bad for Nate at this point. He's like, I don't know what to do to help you.
Yeah, because
how can I help you?
He obviously knows who Parker is, so he probably knows
a little bit, but not like in depth probably at this point.
All right. Now continuing on. Next kind of like funny bit is Hardison's like giving the rundown on Rena, how she's this washed up Russian model. But Hardison says that Arena used to be an actress for some small French films, as he says. Of course, Sophie picks up like
probably.
Oh no, it is. Because
that was subtle.
It's like, ooh,
that was very subtle.
Harrison's like, some French films, and Elliot's like, she was Tatiana, and then Nate's like, oh right, and they both start like talking about this movie.
Yeah, where he goes, oh, and he like lights up.
Oh, it's Emmanuel. He like. And basically, it is heavily implied that it is a rated X film. Which, of course, made me think of the quote, which I will quote from Jamie and Beth, the two lovely ladies from Thief Steals a Podcast and Jabber Picks the Podcast, which you should both check out because they are awesome. They talk about both supernatural and leverage.
They're funny as crap.
Yes. They are funny. And they're about to do the Winchesters. But there's this quote that they say, men are stupid and horny. And I love it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I am adding to the sugar factor right now.
Well, to be fair, I am eating chocolate. But what's funny is just when Sophie's looking at Nate. Just Sophie's look to Nate.
Yes.
Like,
I didn't know if she wanted to slap him or kiss him at that point.
Well,
it was a mixed look.
To be fair, that's about one and the same for those two. Let's be honest. Yep.
True.
We all know what happens in the Mile High Job. You see that? Mhm. But I don't know if it's like a place of jealousy because like Nate's watching like another actress,
It's a little bit of both.
or it's the fact that she is aware of the contents of the films.
It's both. It's jealousy and of like she's aware of the fact that these exist and the fact that he's probably
Which,
watched
I
it
mean, he's a dude.
because he's a guy.
Dudes do that.
Obviously. True.
It's whatever. It's not my thing, but it's whatever. Moving on. So, but yes, this is actually a variant of a actual real life scam called the Spanish prisoner scam, which Sophie mentions when Harson's talking. Sorry, when Harson's talking about how the scam works, how like Arena puts like actual pictures on like a legit adoption website. She hits you up from some money, strings you along until you're sucked dry. Which the Spanish prisoner scam, the modern variant, is also known as the Nigerian scam.
Yeah, the
Which
Nigerian
again
print
ties back
scam,
to
basically.
mhm.
They're basically the same, but instead of a
It's
print wanting
different.
money from you,
It's more
it
modernized.
yeah.
Is the Nigerian letter scam because the Spanish prisoner scam, what they do is a con artist would um, or basically it's about retrieving stolen something from its hiding place. So the victim or yeah, sorry, I have the Wikipedia article I found this on, so I'm trying to like shorten it. But basically, um, the Marc basically you tell someone that um, they need like money from you in order to pay some debt off or something, and they want you to basically fill out the information or whatever and send the money. But then when they take the money out, they like put you in debt, but there's also like criminal charges potentially. So yeah. And I actually believe I know someone. Now this is like distance, like at least through three different people. But I believe I did know of someone who was a victim to a Nigerian scam.
It's just it's
Now,
sad.
granted, this is before. I think I found this out like just as I was getting into leverage or before. But even now, I've discussed this before. How like even watching like leverage now, I'm like how like you'd think it'd be so easy to like not fall for these having watched leverage, but then I ended up falling for a MLM scam. Why the fuck did I say it like that? An MLM scam. So I guess con artists tricks still work on even people who are realizing it. So
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
just like the fact that these Nigerian print scams and stuff like that are they how do I want to word this? it's still around, but
Mm.
the Nigerian prince part of that is like getting old. But
Mm-hmm.
these new age scammers are trying everything they can.
Mm-hmm.
Even when COVID was a really big deal about a year and a half ago,
That
there were
almost made it
scams.
worse.
Yeah, that made it worse because people were already tight on money, and scammers were coming about too to help alleviate their problems by supposedly sending money, but they
even
were
like
draining
work from
people's
home
bank account. Yeah,
job scams.
people were like draining their money by giving them their bank information just to get a stimulus check.
Yeah.
And that right there in a already hard society at that point, that's the low ball at that point. And looking back now, it's like, if they could do that, what else are they capable of?
Yeah.
Same with
Sorry,
this.
I'm a yeah.
Same with this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you're capable of basically using a kid as a pawn, what else are you
Yeah, because
capable
that's
of?
essentially what Arena's doing. She like has legit information on a legit website.
Yep.
But then she hits you up for money.
Yep.
And even like shows you the kid, draws you in more, so you give out her more of your money, and then just disappears.
That just. Ugh. I wanted to tase her so bad. Or stab her with a fork. Either one. Or both.
We're getting into that. Sophie
I had to say that. I'm sorry. I just had to.
Sophie also wants to stop in Paris because they're heading to Belgrade because Arena has an invitation to a party at the American Embassy in Belgrade. So
Sophie lit up.
So it's like, oh, can we stop in Paris? And it's like, on the way back. Like,
which means
if you're good, like if we're good, we'll stop in Paris on the way back as a treat.
It's basically like it's like, we'll see if you
like
behave.
Your mom taking you to the doctor's office or whatever, and you pass the McDonald's, and you're like, Mom, can we get McDonald's? And she's like, you got either, well, it's one of two responses. One, you got McDonald's money. Or two, if you're good, on the way back.
Same. It's probably the second one usually.
Yeah, it is usually the second one.
But so for me, it wouldn't be McDonald's. It would be freaking Chipotle. Giant burrito.
Wendy's, but actually, thinking about it, I never really say that, but never mind. All right, carrying on. So then we go to this party, and this time, Elliot's wearing the suit.
He looks so cute.
And he's all healed up.
I know.
Because Shit Kicker has a genetic component.
But let me just say, Elliot looks damn good in a suit.
He does look damn good in the
boy.
tux.
And notice that he's still wearing his steel-toed work boots, like cowboy boots.
Of course he's wearing.
I didn't notice it at first when I was watching it originally, but watching it back, I saw that and I'm like, really? Fucking what? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, this boy is just has no fashion sense whatsoever.
No fashion sense. So then Elliot's of course chatting up some ladies about drinking champagne. And Parker is dressed as one of the servers. And Irina's with Nicholas.
that Parker has on is
Yes.
adorable.
Yes. And then Parker, or like Nate's asking like what's going on with that Rena, and Parker's like, she's with someone, and it's like, that's never stopped me before. That's also probably why I got the shit beat out of him.
True. And he's like,
No, what? That's option 3.
Yeah,
That's option 3. Because you know what?
Little shimmy.
Elliot, it would be Elliot's luck to be chatting up some chick at a bar, and then her boyfriend come over.
Oh god.
And Elliot gets a little bit of a smart ass.
Starts mouthing off. As per usual.
I can see that happening. And also, so Nate and Hardison are in an office, and Sophie is with them because she's already met the ambassador.
We get a flashback.
You get a flashback to Sophie playing a princess. And what's funny, she looks like, when it cuts back to her, she's like looking up, like daydreaming, like, I still have that tiara though. And Hardison's bitching because he doesn't have his normal equipment.
And what is he drinking?
Off-brand European orange soda.
And, okay. Here's the thing that I noticed. In just a little bit, in the next little bit, like almost seconds later, Sophie's drinking it too.
Yeah, because he hands her it.
Yep. She's like, I need something to drink. And he's like, here. Doesn't really look at her, but kind of gives her a side eye. And he's like,
Like,
the fact that she freaking drank orange soda was blowing my mind.
Yes, yeah. And Hardison recognizes Nicholas as the guy who picked up the Mortons from a video that was shown earlier. Then it splits into like multiple different conversations here, because you have Nate walking Parker through, or like he's telling Parker to like lift Nicholas's wallet, and Sophie's like, all right, get ready to meet Arena. And sorry, Elliot's like offended. Like, do you know I have picked up women before? Like, right, like yesterday. Like, and Sophie's like, yeah, what was her name? Shit, that the flight or whoever it was, a girl from a rental car agency. And even Nate gets it. I'm like, Dharma. And so it's like, Dharma was a wonderful girl, but Arena's a professional grifter. She's going to see right through your moves.
And he's like almost offended.
He's offended.
He got offended. Yeah,
like, you dare
he's
question me? Which,
he's like,
Sophie's right, because Mama's usually right.
Yeah.
And
She warned him, and did he listen?
That's what Elliot does.
Nope. He didn't listen.
You didn't listen.
Not listen at all.
And he went out, tried putting on his charms, but Arena's immediately like, American. That was the first turn off. The second was his hair's too long, which, bitch. Third, his bow tie is crooked.
And I thought that was cute. Wait, he's wearing a bow tie?
He was wearing a bow tie. Bow ties are cool.
You did the thing!
I did the thing. No, but look, Elliot is an Oklahoma boy who probably has gone to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
You're telling me he does not know how to tie a freaking bow tie.
Oh, that poor boy needs some help. They make bow ties that are already tied that all you have to do is button it in the back. He could have gotten one of those.
Yeah.
But no.
But yeah.
He's
yeah.
special.
But then Parker finds Nicholas.
Well, more like he finds her.
He finds her, yeah, because she goes to the balcony, like
she's needing.
Cameron also agrees with my sentiment of I was so mad when she made that comment about his hair. Like, no, well, because yes, me and my partner both obsessed over Christian Kane. It is perfectly
you don't
fine.
mess with the hair.
Like, yes.
If you come for the hair,
You don't mess with
I'm
the
coming
hair.
for your kneecaps. I'm coming for your kneecaps if you come for the hair.
Oh, well, then you're going to have a problem because in probably about 3 weeks, Christian's going to have to cut his hair to shoot Thomas Paradise. I'm sorry.
I'm sad.
I'm sorry. No, don't cry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The hair will forever be mobilized. You'll see the long hair again when season 2 comes out.
Okay.
Okay, you'll see it again when the long hair. You'll see the long hair again when season 2 comes out. Okay.
I swear, if Dean sees me crying over this, I will. I will yeet my laptop into the abyss.
Cameron agrees with you.
Thank you.
All right. Carrying on. So, Nicholas is being creepy to Parker. And
I wanted to
then it kind of like
again.
splits
I wanted
off
to
here.
stab him with the fork.
Yes, because the hair to me is the best feature. Yeah. So, Nicholas is being gross to Parker. Sophie is. Nate's trying to coach Parker, but it's not going well. And Elliot is offended because Irina dismisses his usual charms, which would have worked on me. I don't give a damn.
You don't dismiss the Okie boy charm. Like, come on.
No, every woman or man.
I mean, it's
or
for
anyone.
Me,
I don't judge. All right, everyone falls for those Okie boy charms, that rattlesnake smile, and those blue eyes.
Yeah, that actually makes me remember. I have to tell a story too. Again, this is a little story. We were driving through literally Oklahoma, and we stopped at a gas station to fill up because we were headed to Texas to go to a concert and spend time with family. And I was waiting in line, and I had someone behind me say, "Excuse me, ma'am." I'm like, "Yes, sir." And I immediately said, "Yes, sir." And I turn around, and it's this kid about my age, maybe a couple years older. He's like, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I need to squeeze by." I'm like, "Go right in." And I let him go by, and he's like, "Well, thank you." I'm like, "You're welcome, sir." And he's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Kansas." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Okay." And he gave me a little.
I probably thought you were from Oklahoma.
I know. And I don't know why, but when I'm like either really tired or it's like when I'm really tired, I get a little bit of a southern accent. You called me out on it.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, and it just came out, and he was just so sweet. And he reminded me of freaking Christian, like the way that he's just like big old grin. And So now every time I hear Christian say like, yes, ma'am, or something like that, I'm like, I literally squeak.
I am going to keep my thoughts on that phrase to myself for my own sanity. Moving on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and also my boyfriend said I told him that about when CK says darling in the show. I get blushy and stuff, and he does it now on purpose. He'll message me. He's like, "What you gonna do about it, darling?" And I'm like, "Sir, how dare you?" Yep, my boyfriend does that to me on purpose.
Cam does too.
And I'm just like,
they threatened to do the Elliot stare.
They did it to me too. Remember? Because I was misbehaving. As per usual.
So was I.
And we didn't listen, did we?
I'm sorry, babe. I'm like totally exposing us. All right, moving on.
Not sorry.
Moving on, so I don't embarrass myself any further.
I'm probably gonna get yelled at now.
I know. I'm like keep checking, waiting to get a message or something. So then it splits because like Sophie starts coaching Elliot, putting on his Southern boy charm, and starts coaching him through how to flirt with Irina.
She's basically giving him lady advice.
He is.
During a con. And he's like,
no, this is when he does the yes ma'am.
Yeah,
this is when he does the yes ma'am. Because he's like, because she's saying like all these things, and it's like, and your eyes move up and to the left, sign someone's about to lie. And Elliot's like, then he takes a second when he's like, oh shit, my charms didn't work, damn it. But then like once Sophie starts coaching him, he's like,
he looked disappointed.
You are right. Like, you're right. I'd rather be on my ranch in Texas. And she's like, your ranch in Texas? Like,
the way that she said it was freaking adorable.
You got money.
Yep.
And to be honest, it was probably more the money than the charm. Yeah. Though,
and
he was also charming as hell.
I know. It's like, damn, what?
His son is like, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have to tell my note, and it's like he's playing the oil man from Texas.
He's playing the oil man from Texas.
Yeah, and so they are again poking fun at the fact that he's kind of a Texas boy, but he's also an Oklahoma boy. And
yeah, because he was like born in Texas, but he was like raised in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I think if I remember right, his dad has ties to the actual oil business at one point, early on when he was young. And
oh God, I knew.
I wrote. How the hell did his accent come out more? Literally, his accent's thicker.
But I think yes, ma'am's more of like a Southern phrase.
Yeah, but when he's talking about
probably like just came out naturally.
Yes, but when he was talking about the ranch part of that, and like wanting to like throw the hook in a little bit and reel her in, his accent came out a little bit thicker and a little bit stronger, and I'm like, that was kind of cute.
Damn boy.
And I said it out loud as I was watching it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, he said that, like, yes, ma'am. And I had to pause and compose myself.
Same. I had to pause it, put my phone down. And he had the little, okay, this is what it paused on. Him like tilting his head, looking at her, and I'm like,
Ignore that I left one of the banners on. See, Cameron agrees. So, see, it's totally fine.
it's fine. No, it's a freaking dumpster
It's
fire
totally
at this point.
that I have a partner, and I'm talking about my obsession with a 50-year-old man. I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry. We'll see how long it takes for me to get in trouble for that one. Carry it on.
You're blushing. It's adorable.
Shush.
So cute.
Carry it on. So this is when it kind of like starts splitting off because Nate's coaching Parker, Sophie's coaching Elliot, because his Trump's starting to work on her a little bit. And also Nate and Sophie are talking to each other because Sophie Nate recognizes some of the tricks that Sophie's given Elliot. See, like Cameron in the Twitter chat, that's what I'm looking at.
Oh,
they said we are all in the same boat, babe. See, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So, carrying on. So, within Nate's like he's taking a person and is like, you manipulating me? Sophie's like, all relationships are about manipulation, which I'm sorry, Sophie.
And the fact that like she like he was
we
like,
need to have this talk.
Exactly.
We need to have
she
this
needs
talk
to know when to like back
about
off.
hashing your shit out during the con.
Exactly. And the fact that he goes like, you've never used that on me, have you? And then she
takes
a while walking eyes.
She takes a sip and is like, I would never. And he's just like,
and she like moves her hand, and he just like looks at her like,
of course,
totally like disappointed. He's like, yeah, of course.
Which
typical.
No, relationships are not all about manipulation, Sophie. All right, trust me on this. Then Harrison's like when you two are done having your little quarrel, I got some real information here. Like, mom and dad quit fighting about your love life.
Exactly. They were like basically flirting a little bit, but arguing at the same time.
Quarrel. They were having a lover's quarrel. As
flirty, but
Nate's coaching Parker and Sophie's coaching Ellie.
Yeah.
As they're bickering with one another. Harson's like, Mom, Dad, quit it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's dad coaching his daughter and mom coaching her oldest son on how to pick up a girl. And then the middle son is like,
middle boy is like, y'all nasty. And we will hear Hardison say that. Not this episode, but some other episode.
Yep.
It was, oh yeah, I know what episode it is now.
I think I know what episode.
Oh, that episode's gonna.
Oh, God.
Two Love Crew Job.
One of my favorite
I'm gonna need a lot of water for that one. All right. So. Okay.
Breathe. Breathe, woman.
I am. But person carrying. God damn it. I have that in my head. Okay. God damn it. Uh, mm. So Hardison reveals that Nicholas has organized crime ties in smuggling and went legit 5 years prior and took over a government organization that takes his families from the Kosovo War. And that's how he gets the kids, basically. And then Nate gives Parker a cue. And Parker actually does pretty decent at this cue, I must say. But then Nicholas is being gross again. And you can see, like, Parker's starting to get upset. She's like, yeah, but those people, like, people and those families. Then Nicholas is like, it's tragic, yes, but the smart, or the strong, the smart, the beautiful survive. And you can see that Parker starts disassociating. And that's symbolized by, like, she keeps cutting back between herself as a kid around Lucas's age and also the video she saw of Lucas. And then she ends up stabbing Nicholas in the shoulder with the fork.
Yeah, in her mind. And I immediately said, Parker, no stabbing! Literally, when that happened in my headline, I'm like, damn it, Parker, no stabbing!
Yeah. And then, like, yeah, she stabs him with a fork. And then, like, Parker's like, that she, like, snaps out of it and then is looking around like, oh, shit. I'm screwed. And she does what she's trained best to do, find an exit. And that exit is by leaping over the balcony.
Yeah, she literally looks around, does a really quick scan of the room, and then
like,
looks out of the corner of her eyes and sees the balcony
shit.
right behind her. She turns on
the exits through
the balcony and jumps
over
out.
the balcony.
Yeah.
And, like,
That was actually
then
pretty
everyone's in
impressive.
the office, like, the earbuds are going haywire. Harson's getting a bunch of, like, police, like, calls to police. And everyone in the office is basically like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, they're like,
what the fuck
the hell
happened?
was that?
No, it's like, Parker just stabbed her girl with a fork.
What happened to no stabbing Wednesdays, Parker?
They haven't happened yet.
Oh, right.
And, like, Ellie thinks he's going to lose Arena. Luckily, Sophie or Nate's like, okay, maybe she's going to go up to Nicholas, see what's happened to him. And Sophie's like, no, they have a dead job. And, like, a safe place for further instructions, that's what I do. And Nate's like, exactly. Okay, Elliot, tell Irina this. And basically, Elliot implies that the reason he is in Belgrade is because he is making a movie. You're producing a movie, sorry. Of course, Irina's like, called town. Like, she is full on into this. And she gives him a card. He agrees to pick her up in the morning.
Yeah, that was
He's hooked her.
Funny as crap. The fact that she, like, perked up and her body language shifted to, like, excitement.
Oh, sweetheart, I gotta go. I got early call time tomorrow.
Yeah, and the fact that he said sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
The way that he said sweetheart.
That's the other phrase.
Puddle on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I was like, excuse you, sir? How dare you?
Just saying, if you want some CK content dealing with, like, nicknames, hide. Though that one's more mature. I will give that warning. It is more mature.
It's a little more,
like,
yeah, it's mature.
Well, to be fair, it is both. It's more on, like, Rachel Miner's end of that movie because she, like, calls him, like, baby cakes, baby.
She calls him sweetheart a little bit too.
Yeah, and daddy.
I know. I didn't catch that at first. I'm like,
I was like, "What?"
Excuse you? What? Repeat that again? But yeah,
And like Elliot
I
calls her
love that.
like, or not Elliot. I said Elliot. God damn it, Billy calls Betty like Mama, firecracker.
He even called her mama at one point.
He does call her Mama at one point.
I'm like, and
Sweet.
yeah, he says sweetheart and darling at least one point.
Oh,
At one
yeah.
point he says darling. And it was when she was smothering her freaking pancakes in syrup.
Oh yeah.
And you know who I thought of when I saw that?
Parker.
Yep.
Because she loves her sugar.
Yep.
Yeah. God damn
But
it!
yeah,
Now I
the
have to
freaking
again.
yeah, the freaking sweetheart thing with
Yeah,
Elliot.
be-
I was a freaking puddle on the floor. I was like,
Also, when Irina leaves, he twirls the card.
he did the spinny thing.
Did the spinny thing, yes. Because Christian Kane can't not twirl something.
It
And I mean anything. I've discussed this before, and I'm going to save Alex some sanity.
you
By
know what I'm
moving on.
thinking.
I know. I think I know what you're thinking of, the unmentionable object.
Yep.
Carrying on. So,
You done broke me.
and then they
You done
meet
broke
up
me.
with Parker, and we get, this is the first time because like, and Sophie's like, well, Arena's expecting to be in a movie, so what do we do now? And it's like, now we steal a movie, which is the first time we hear this phrase, let's go steal. Which is usually like the rallying cry,
Yep.
as it turns into. In this case, it's let's go steal a movie.
Yeah, it becomes Nate's catchphrase.
Mhm.
And then eventually Sophie's catchphrase.
Yeah, and redemption. I love
Yep.
that.
It was
I
cute.
can't wait to get into redemption. Because, like, especially with like the first time they say it when they're in like the warehouse thing.
Yeah.
And there's
Person
like,
goes,
come on,
you have to say it.
you gotta say it.
You have to say it.
And you can see like Parker and Elliot are looking like, you're going to say the thing?
And Elliot's like staring at her but smiling. He's like, come on, you gotta.
Come on, you gotta say it. You gotta say it.
And then
Goodness, it
Hershey
does.
goes, for Nate, say
Or
it.
no, it doesn't say that. But it's,
Yeah,
I
he
guess
does.
it is kind of what it's like, though. Yeah. But then Sophie says, let's go steal a stolen Rembrandt.
And
Yeah,
Parker.
yes. And I
And-
went, yeah.
the freaking gif.
Because first time I saw that scene, because I couldn't see where Kane's hands were.
He was, to me, it looked like he was breaking rule number 7.
It did look like he was breaking rule number 7, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He was just clapping his hands. We good. We good. We good.
And if y'all know what rule number 7 is,
Yeah. Y'all know what
I
rule number
applaud
7 is. We've discussed
I
this.
applaud you.
Yes, we've discussed this. So moving on. So they clear out a film set by Harrison just stealing one of the producers' money. And he has to fly to LA to figure out where's the money.
Yeah, he does an electronic
Sophie does the
transfer, is
work.
what he does.
He does, yeah. And then Sophie does the clear out by switching out phones. The director's phones and making it seem like he got an offer he can't refuse.
That was smart.
I'm a film buff. What can I say? So, hence why I have a podcast about it. So, and then Parker's offended she didn't get to do the lift.
She's pouting at this point.
She is kind of pouting.
It's cute though. Like, oh.
What's fun is that Parker's like, wait, you did the lift? Why didn't I do the lift? And Harson's like, well, that's because a certain somebody decided to use a certain object to stab a certain mark. Parker's like, that was me. Like, no.
20 pounds of crazy.
5-pound bag.
I'm sorry for that squeal that I just let out for anyone who's listening. I apologize.
I'm probably going to finish it. That's how it works. So since Elliot is playing a producer, Nate is playing the asshole director, really obsessed with details. And Harson's on special effects. And Parker's a PA. Because Nate's grounded her. And basically, Elliot has already revealing that Arena's going to be playing a mother, and this ties into what they're going to do. And Sophie was in charge of the script because Parker goes to get it, or Parker meets with Harrison, and she's bitching about not liking having to fetch stuff for Nate. Harson's like, yeah, tell me we're supposed to believe these are real. But he marks these prop guns with the white X underneath, like the trigger guard.
Yeah.
Underneath the trigger guard, that's what it was. But he's marking them with the X, kind of like how, my prop gun here has an orange tip. That's basically just to let him know they're fake. Well, no. They're real guns, but loaded with blanks, I believe is what they're trying to show.
They're loaded with dummy ammo. That's basically what that means.
It's still incredibly dangerous, and I've already had my discussion about this when it comes to the prop guns.
Yep, just treat it like an actual live weapon. That's plain and simple.
Yeah. Continuing on. So apparently Sophie was in charge of the script, and Ella comes over to get it, and Sophie went a bit overboard.
That's per usual.
Because she gave herself a part, including special effects, a stunt. And we find out it's her death scene. And what's funny is it's like, but Sophie, this is 10 pages. Nate said to just write a 1-page scene, a 2-page scene between Arena and a boy. And Sophie's like, that's still the heart of it. It's the heart of it. Sophie, you got the special effects instead. Which they made the joke of the auto commentary that was how they react to this, how producers actually react to the scripts. You know how much is this going to cost out of the budget? Because I've discussed this in the
That's funny.
Episode, is producers doing the money.
That's funny.
So it would actually be the producer that would be like, no, we are not doing that scene. It is going to cost us too much to do.
No, I've been checking on you and your mom and Alexis. You're
So,
alive.
like I say, your TV is kind of loud. I'm sorry, I just now noticed it. Sorry. And of course, and then like Park in the Riesgraf's like Sister Magda crosses making a loaf of bread, and it's like, who's Sister Magda? Then Sophie just comes wheeling in, like she's on a dolly, like she's being pulled on a dolly, wearing a white nun outfit. Which, talk about dramatic.
Yep.
Because we're about to see. But I know it's like, I think it was hard to say. It's like, you didn't see that coming? And Nelly just grabs the script and walks off. And then Q&A and Sophie having another argument, this time over the death scene. It's like, cool.
But this time as director and actor,
Yeah.
which is adorable.
Like you have to set up the main character's emotional needs, and like you need to pay, like it needs to pay off in the resolution. Which, like, yeah, that's good storytelling. You gotta like set up a character's needs, and you need to have that like payoff at the end. Which is honestly, I think, what makes Leverage so good is it does pay off in the end. I'm gonna dread doing that episode. Continuing on, so we have then, or they're arguing over that, and Sophie's like, "What? Like this is?" And Nate's like, "Sophie, this is a movie about NATO troops being attacked by werewolves. There is no emotional payoff." It's like, what? Like this is, look around, like this is my world. Like you need someone to call through an air duct, call Parker. Bash your head at Elliot. Internet porn artist.
Get barbecue stuff delivered today.
I
can't
choice
breathe.
words, Sophie.
But the fact that she said bash someone's head at Elliot.
Or I think she
like,
said bash your head in.
Yeah, pretty much. She was like bash your head in.
Elliot.
Like call Elliot.
And also see them like coming. And then Elliot, it's like, so it's like you could see like Parker Hardison and Elliot like are like in the back, like towards the set.
Yep.
And then
You're
like,
probably like, really?
so it's like, if you like, you need someone to take over a movie set, then, and it's like, yeah, an actor. Sophie, about the acting, and you could see like Elliot, Parker, and Hardison looking at Nate like,
Don't
you
do it.
tell her.
It's like
You gonna tell her,
or should we?
and then it's like, you know what? We're gonna go with your scene. And Sophie's all excited, like she gives Nate a kiss on the cheek and like grabs his shoulders a bit. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go over to makeup, and then leaves. And then like Elliot just is like leaning against one of the tables or like something, like head down. Like, are you fucking kidding me, Nate?
He's like got that disappointed body language, and I'm like,
That's like, really, Nate?
Poor freaking Oklahoma's all mad. It's cute.
Like, you could.
He's disappointed. He's like,
Yeah, and
I can
Nate just
see it.
then is like just tosses the script up and
He's
goes.
like, nope, I'm done. I check out. I'm gone.
Oh my god.
That was
And-
freaking hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
But the fact that freaking Timothy Hutton played a director. And
I
has
have to see
directed-
what later he directed a couple things with Christian Kane in them, but it was what was it? I know it was the House Rules music video
Yep.
he directed.
And then Ivan short film he directed, I think.
Yeah, it was like Ivan Red, White, and Blue or something like that.
Yep. But yeah, he did a really good job of the House Rules video.
I love that music video so much.
Yep. So do I. And we actually, I think, get a little, like, he's actually in the crowd at one point, too, like, off to the side. You can spot,
I know there's like
Timothy.
I've seen the director's cut,
yeah.
which there's a bit like you kind of see like Kane in the mirror, which
Cute.
and
And then,
that's-
who's this freaking
that's-
security? Who's this
Aldis,
security?
he has
Freaking
security
Aldis!
right on the t-shirt, and they do the handshake.
And they do the thing. Yep.
The handshake. Which,
Yes.
but what episode did we first see the handshake?
I think it's
I
the
don't
one
know what
that.
episode we get the handshake first.
No, I think it's a few episodes later that we get the first handshake.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did the actual handshake, and actually, if I remember right, Christian and Aldis both came up with that because of their friendship. They came up with that handshake, so it
I love that.
bled into their character.
they do that all the time. Like even when like
They did it.
because when Christian during season
yeah.
4, Christian wasn't really on the audio commentaries because he was traveling to different country bars performing, and there was one where the Leverage Gang was there.
Yep, it was
And
Dukes.
They did Dukes, the encore.
Yep, and they did
When-
the freaking handshake.
Yeah, when he came out, and even Beth was like, "I want to see Kane and the guys do another song." Crowd goes ballistic.
It's like, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want to hear another song, don't you? And they just like went
They do.
nuts.
Ballistic. Pretty sure the couple microphones got blown out
Probably.
because even she recoil was like, "Oh damn!"
Yeah. But yeah, but
And
my
then
favorite
Tim
part
comes up
is
and is like, "We're gonna start a chat," and then he gets the crowd yelling like, "Kane, Kane, 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 Kane," and like
Who's the
co-
first one
band
to
member
come
comes
up?
out.
Yeah,
It was
it was-
Steve,
No, Steve was the
Steve?
second one. The first one was his drummer.
drummer,
Then
Jay,
Jay
The guitarist?
was next. Yeah, Jay, the bass, and then their bassist. And then the last one was Steve before Christian.
It was funny. As Christian comes on, he like his chest kind of popped down, and he like slides on. He like hugs everyone. He gets to Gina.
And Beth,
gives her a
and Beth
kiss
is
on the
like
cheek.
laughing.
Beth. He gives a kiss on Beth's cheek too,
He like
and even
pulls her
like
in.
Aldis, he, like
yeah,
they
they
hug.
did the handshake.
Or they do the handshake, and then he like pulls him in for a hug, and I think he also like kisses him on the cheek too.
Yeah, what he did with both Beth and Aldis, he grabs the back of their neck and pulls them in and gives them a hug like that, and he kisses their cheek, which is freaking cute. And he gets even more bright red.
I know. I just visualized the scene from the Rundown Job when Harson's panicking over the Harrison Elliott it's like, "Hey, just focus." Like, I am focused. And he says like, "You're the smartest man I've ever known. It like you can figure this out." And ours is like, we're good, man. Like, we're thieves and we're good, but like, we're not that good. And Alex like grabs the back of Harson's neck and like
They like
holds
go
him.
forehead to forehead.
Yeah, it was very. Now
Like,
I
hey,
am an OT3
focus.
shipper.
Same. But it's like, hey, dude, focus.
So that scene, even like the first time I remember watching that scene, I was like, oh. Now
I
keep in
wanna know.
mind,
I want to know
like I've
when
said
Christian
since
did
then.
that. I want to know if Aldis and Christian were just like staring at each other, and then Christian goes, it just winks.
Or because this usually happens in blooper reels where they like they pull him and then like either like fake make out or like they get closer but then they go and start laughing.
Yes. There was one. I think it was. Yeah, it was. It was with the one that plays Tara and
Jerry Ryan.
yeah, it was with Jerry Ryan and Christian, and they like gonna land it. No, it was Gina and Christian. And
I
they
was
gonna like,
Jan
hey,
Christian in the top
yep,
hat job.
and they
I
like
know what
gonna
blooper
land
you're
it, and
talking about
he turns away and starts laughing.
because they're talking eating Chinese because that's the easiest thing to fake.
Yep, you could do
Take it
literally put like fake like put
or
ramen
nothing.
in yeah. Well, they had like you kind of glimpse and it was just ramen noodles.
But they was there like eating Chinese at the table, and Sophie's like, "Oh, it's like he's fine." Talking about Nate, like he's fine. Like we had to practically beg him to come back. Like he's good. Like he's sober. He's like doing good, and like we keep winning. So it's like, yeah, that's it. Like he keeps winning, but what happens when he loses? And like he falls apart again. I don't even think we can pick up the pieces. But it's during like it's a very like emotional scene. It is an emotional scene.
But it's also like emotionally tense
It is
too. They're like
emotion
talking
intense
about him.
because it's like yeah. I'll get more into like the when we get to that actual episode, but blooper, emotional tense scene, the blooper.
They
And
like
Gina's
lock
like,
eyes and look
"Maybe
at each
I don't
other.
think we can pick up the pieces," and they look at each other. And Christian just freaking leans in, and Gina just sticks her tongue out, and just they
Yep,
bust
he's
out
like,
laughing.
and she turns away, and he does the little freaking shit eating grin that he does
Yeah.
when he breaks, and he turns the other way and starts cracking up.
Oh, and also in season 5, when the Tabitha redhead,
Oh,
and she they he asks her to dinner, and then uh, he he like leans in, and she's like, "Bitch."
and she's like, he kind of does one of these.
All right,
And,
carry
like,
on.
looks at it.
You need to move on.
Yeah.
You need to move on. Move on.
Yeah, there's many moments where it's like that.
And we'll
It's
talk
like
about them as we keep going.
those two are like when it fails, but in this it's
But
like
you
that
know what?
tension
I
is
could
still
see why
there.
people ship them together.
True.
All right, carrying on. So they filmed Sophie's death scene, and what's cool is part of a monologue. She says, "Though I walk through the valley of though I, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil." There's this song that is associated with one of my favorite games, The Last of Us, called "Through the Valley" by Sean James. It was part of the soundtrack that was released for The Last of Us Part 2, the video game. And part of the lyrics is, "I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil, because I'm blind to it all." So that's association. And of course, scene ends. Everyone's cheering. Nate reminds Elliot that Sophie can act when it's an act, but Sophie asks for
That
the
can be
real.
debated.
Oh, no, that's the point. Is she can act when it's an act, like when she's doing it for a con.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, but Sophie asks for the real.
And she kind of perks up, like, can I have that?
But we're both. Anyways, then Elliot and Nate fake an argument over over a child actor not showing up to set, and they threaten to cut Arena's stuff, so she offers to bring a boy to set. What's funny is like the way she's like Nate's like describing basically Luca.
Yep. And she
And it was
lights
like,
up.
I know this boy. Like I would bring him. Like no cut. And she's like no cut, no cut.
Yeah. And she's like, I bring boy.
Yeah.
It was cute. Also, and then as she turns to walk away, the run that she did.
Well, she is wearing
What the-
heels.
Yeah, what the heck was that run?
Because she was wearing heels.
That was weird.
Trust me. Running in heels is not an option.
I know. It's hard.
Why do you think I wear sneakers all the time?
I wear flats or tennis shoes.
Well, I kind of have to wear sneakers because my job. So, and I have to walk everywhere. So, but so Parker and Hardison carry on. So Parker and Hardison follow Arena to a warehouse, and though Hardison has a book that he uses to translate, but later he has a computer algorithm. As he said, he translated most of a conversation that Parker and Hardison, or that Parker will record, because the camera's attached to her headset,
Yep.
along with a mic. So how come he didn't have that before? But anyways, they go in. And Parker finds, which now, I don't know if you picked up on this, but now the scenes, now the scenes have a blue tint to them,
A little bit, yeah, I saw that.
which is to show like it being like cold and miserable.
And you can kind of see a little bit when Parker, like,
because
takes a
Parker
breath.
comes across Nicholas Goons Arena, and Goons have guns. And
Of course they do.
freaking Hardison. Parker's like, wait, like, why does an orphanage need guns? Hardison's like, must be some badass kids. But Parker's pushing her luck a bit. But then she finds a room full of kids.
With
Like-
like a bunch of like
Sick, miserable
military
kids.
style bunk beds, pretty
Yeah.
much. Which it was
And
smaller
the
than
sad
my
guitar
room.
music.
Yeah, it was very small. I noticed.
And you can see Parker's like she's she freezes, and even Harson's like, Oh my god. And I forget what he says exactly, but he's like,
You could see it on his face. He's like, holy crap.
yeah. But Parker's about to get caught, but she hides underneath Luca's bunk. Sorry. And Parker manages to leave, and this is when Harson's like, Parker, stop pushing your luck. And that's when
She doesn't listen.
she does not, because Harrison records a conversation that's going on between these goons and Nicholas. This is the moment I started shipping pretzels here, because Parker and Harrison go under a bridge, and Parker like gets out. She's pacing, like, like
She's kind of
her arm
panicked.
feelers.
She's kind of panicked at this point.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Like, it's her version of panicking, and Harson's like, I already told Nate. Like, hey, I called Nate. We'll work out a plan when we get back to the hotel. And then Parker like leans against the van and is like, or the prop truck, because they're using the prop truck, right? Yeah, they're using the prop truck. And Parker's like, we gotta be on. Harson's like, what? Like, you don't mean that. Parker's like, why not? And Parker's like, Harrison, like, he's obviously like upset with Parker wanting to bail, but he never raises his voice.
You can see that he's like, in his eyes, he's like, you can kind of see that there's something
Like,
wrong.
he almost expected Parker to want to go along with like getting all the kids out, because that's Harson's first thought is, we got to get all these kids out. As we find out, it's partially because he also is a foster kid.
Yep. And that's something that they have in common. They were both foster parents.
Yeah.
Part of the foster system at one point.
Yeah, but they had two completely different experiences in that system, though. Parker having bad foster homes, which is why she's like, we have to bail. Like, you think this is the only crappy orphanage in this place? Like, we can't save them all. No, but Harrison's like, no, but we can save this one, because he like has a more positive experience. And I say positive as in,
you know what I just noticed? You know what I just noticed with this? It's Nate and Sophie. It's a parallel between them. Because she's like, we can't save them all.
Actually, that's a good point, because
Yeah.
which is why like the relationships turn out differently, but ironically take the same amount of time.
Yeah, it's like, Sophie's like, you can't save them all, Nate, and he's like, I can try, and I can see who's who. Hardison is more like Sophie, and Parker is like Nate.
Yeah,
and that's why Parker's the freaking mastermind.
Yeah, that's why. But I don't think. See, it's interesting to say that, because I don't think season one Parker could be the mastermind.
No.
But season 5 Parker, yes.
Yeah. I mean, well, this was kind of paving the way for her to change.
Yeah.
To be that better version of herself.
Of Parker trying to understand humans. But even like with Harrison's like, but like he doesn't like get angry at her. He doesn't like raise his voice. He doesn't like, he doesn't push her, but he's like I know growing up in the system was tough and it was bad, it was worse than bad, but not all foster parents are monsters. Mine wasn't. And I think Parker's a little envious here. She's like, you were raised by your grandmother. Because all we've seen Hardison talk about is his Nana. Which Hardison's like, we called her Nana, but she was her foster mom. I love this description of Nana, though. Hardison's like she'd cuss like a sailor. She'd tan your ass just as soon as look at you. And oh, she would raise hell if you looked at one of them crooked. And then Parker's like, well, you got lucky. Like, odds are you put these kids in the system, they're gonna end up like me. But it's the way her voice breaks though when she says they're gonna end up like me.
That hurt.
It did. Hardison, this is what made me shit pretzels. Is Hardison leaning in and is like, I like how you turned out.
And you can see her
But then
kind of
he gives
like
her room. He goes back in.
The thing is like when she says that, she does this and she has her
She
arm
curls
close to
up.
her body and goes like
She
this,
curls up.
taps it on her chest, and then does one of these. She looks further away from him, and he kind of like leans in a little bit, but then backs up, and he's like,
Goes back in the truck.
"You are." Yeah, he basically told her, "You're not damaged goods. You're good. You are perfect the way that you are."
Yeah. And he just leaves. Lets her compose herself.
Yep. Lets her cry a little bit. She's kind of crying. Yep.
Gives her a moment.
Her kinda, yeah.
And then, but then he's like, "Okay, we gotta go."
Yep.
Because that very easily could have been like hardest, like any other show would have had Park or Hardison wrapping his arm around her, like trying to use that emotional vulnerability to make a move.
Yeah, but with this, it was like, I understand that you're hurting, but we got a job to do, basically. Like giving her space.
Like he reaches out, gives her an out.
Yep.
Like by just saying, I like how you turned out. He's saying, like, just like you are not bad, and if someone turned out like you, that is not a bad thing.
And I thought, oh, that's cute.
But I also just realized Brianna.
Parker says the same thing when she's talking about Brianna. A little bit. It's worded a little bit differently, but it's the same thing. A little bit.
Because I'm trying to think, mostly it's Parker. Because the fact that it's heavily implied that Parker, Hardison, and Elliot all raised Brianna.
That's adorable.
And Brianna was also with the system because Brianna is Hardison's foster sister.
Yep.
And Brianna kind of did turn out like Parker.
Parker with a little bit of Hardison.
A lot of Hardison.
Yeah.
A lot of Hardison.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking love Brianna.
That
Can't wait to
child, though. Ugh. She's gonna be the
She's-
death of me one day.
She's my gay little shit child, and I love her.
I sound like an annoyed mother when I just said that just now.
But just this is the fact that, like, because do you think, like, season 1 Parker would have imagined that, like, she'd essentially, like, raised a kid?
Nope.
Like, season 1 Parker would be terrified of that idea because, like, she'd break him. But in an interesting way, Parker raising Brianna essentially taught her more about herself. Because, like, she, like, had all this leadership responsibility of, like, being a leader and a parent and a mentor to Brianna.
Yep.
But Brianna taught her that, like, have your passions, and, like, it's okay to, like, slow down if you need to, and, like, it's okay to realize something's too much, or, like, it's okay to
Basically, be
be
vulnerable if needed. Yeah.
it's okay to be you. And yeah, that's I just made that more emotional. Carrying on. Apparently, so there's, like, a party boat going off, and of course it was like it wouldn't go for a while. So then they'd call, like, action, but then the boat would go off again. So yeah, moving on. So we go back to the film set, and it's dark, and Nate's explaining that basically Arena's doing what they did, what gun runners used to do during the NATO bombing runs in the 90s, which basically they would use, like, hospitals, orphanages, anywhere that wouldn't be targeted, to store their guns. And basically they're doing the same scam, but dodging police instead of bombs. And the kids are just being used as extra cash, basically.
Pretty much.
And Sophie says, like, a modern day working couple. Like, of course, then now I just thought of, like man, woman doing bad. Bonnie and Clyde. I thought, but, like, this is much worse.
Yep. It's like Bonnie and Clyde, but, like, darker. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because then, like, then Harson's, like, reveals that the goons are Chechen separatists, and is like, and after reading their resumes, I don't think I'm going to sleep again. But then Elliot starts, like, chuckling, and he's like, never tell a Chechen his sister's got a nice smile. Which, Elliot,
He
seriously,
loves to play with danger. I just noticed that. He's flirting with danger. No wonder he got punched.
that explains a lot. Oh, God. I still got freaking 2 Live Crew Job stuck in my head. Because of Mikkel. Because, like,
I'm thinking of the freaking guy liner.
guy liner, no! Not the guy liner! No, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one, that episode. Sorry, I still have the visual of freaking Elliot and Mikkel all wet in one layer on, kissing after fighting.
That was hot.
And then just the look on their faces when you hear the handcuffs. Oh my god. This is what happens. Moving on. But we also get a roundy round camera shot during this whole thing. The roundy rounds.
I
which
love
believe
those.
they said it was on a track.
Awesome.
But basically, Hardison reveals during this that the deal's going down tomorrow. And it's like this doesn't change anything, basically. Of course, Hardison's not happy because he's like, no, I talked about it with Parker, and Parker's like, and I said walk away. Hardison's again is like, you don't mean that. But Nate
Yeah,
thinks
she
it's
said it. She said it way too quickly to be legit.
yeah. But Nate thinks it's too risky, and like they could come back later once they have like a better plan, more equipment, more information. And Nate leaves, but then like Hardison does. But what's interesting is he's like shaking, like he gets up and then like walks away, but you could see him like shaking his head,
Yep.
like he's pissed, but he's like controlling it by shaking his head. Which reminds me of an audio commentary piece in a later episode, the band Go Job. There's because Hardison but it's Aldis is playing another character besides Hardison, and he is in the military, and it's after he talks with Elliot or Christian. He's not playing Elliot, but a lieutenant, and it's like he goes back to like this truck after finding out he's not going to get the medal, this bronze medal or bronze star, whatever it was, because he was a black guy during World War II, even though he killed this sniper. Anyways, there's this part where he goes, what did you freaking send me? Really? This? Don't.
Yep. I had to.
Basically, it's from the corkscrew job. Anyways. So basically, what I was trying to get to is her hardest Aldis, as this other character goes to the truck, and he's about to like slam his helmet on the truck, but then he like goes to slam it, but then he stops himself and just sets it on the box or something. And in the audio commentary, they talked about like this. Basically, the direction was that they gave Aldis was like, what would your mother tell you to do in that scene?
Here.
Like in that moment, what would your mother tell you to do? And it was like you would control it, like control the anger, like keep it contained.
It's not a campfire story. But romance, baby.
because going off probably would have made it worse in that situation.
Just so you know how.
But that just reminded me of that. So carrying on. So it's the next day on set. They're getting ready to shoot Armina's death scene. They shoot it, and Arena finds out that Arena's overly dramatic about her death scene. And what's funny is like after she like dies with a very loud sigh. I don't even think I could replicate it. It's that bad. But like then she gets up and is like, I could do better, yeah. And then like she sees Nate's on his director's chair and she's like, Mr. Director? And then like the crew's like, I don't know, he just freaking left.
The fact that she went from laying down to looking up, like, where did he go? How did he get up that fast?
Like what the hell's going on? And then she like realizes that Luca's missing.
And then a switch flips in her mind.
Yeah. Well, and then we see the team hand over Luke to the Mortons. And what's cute though is Elliot, like, they get out of the truck and Sophie's speaking, I think it's Russian. Sophie's speaking Russian to Luca to like explain what's going on. And then Elliot's like, maybe this will help. And he has his hand on like Luca's, like the top of Luca's back as he's like walking him over to the Mortons. And what's cute is Dana's like, hi, Luca. Like, do you remember me? But then his face just lights up.
That was adorable.
Then they hug, and it's all like sweet.
Yeah.
It's
And,
funny.
Yeah, the fact that when after it kind of pans out, it goes towards the crew, and the way that freaking Christian's standing, he's got his hands clasped together in front of him, and I'm like
He's
kind
like,
of cute the way that he's standing.
yeah, but
It was
something
cute.
that was pointed out in the audio commentary from John Rodgers. It was like, because apparently people kept telling him like, how are they gonna like get the kid back to the States? And how did they do this? So it's like legally they're not just kidnapping a child. John Rodgers is like, obviously Hardison handed over the paperwork. Like they're not gonna do anything half-ass. Like they're gonna steal a kid, they're gonna steal a kid. And they're gonna do it properly.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Like, obviously Hardison had all the paperwork situated.
True. He
So
rushed that stuff along.
so it would work.
Wait a minute. Does
Hmm.
does that mean that Hardison hacked the U.S. government again?
I'm assuming yes.
Damn it, Hardison! I had to. I'm sorry. I had to.
I mean, even And then Elliot's like, I have my doubts, but I'm gonna say this feels pretty good. And then they realize that Parker's not there. So, and then Parker
That's the-
breaks into the orphanage. She has the
That's like the lost child in the mall.
she has the
moment.
translation,
Like,
but
crap.
she has the translation, and she's trying to get the kids to go with her, but they won't come with her.
It's not
Excuse
working.
me a moment. I need to grab a prop. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I'm grabbing a prop. probably will need a fork here in a few moments. Freaking Nicholas. The way Parker gets the kids to go with her is she says, Haagen-Dazs. And yes, I just pulled out of my freezer dulce de leche Haagen-Dazs. And I have mint chip. And did I buy Haagen-Dazs? Did I spend $9 on Haagen-Dazs just for this bit? Yes, I did. No, I do not regret it.
It's ice cream.
Yes,
It's good.
it is ice cream. It's
My favorite
good.
one that they have, they don't make it anymore. Haagen-Dazs doesn't make it anymore. It was like their mint creamsicle, I think. It was a creamsicle flavored ice cream that they had a few years ago, but they
I like
discontinued it.
Orange creamsicle.
So I went and found the Ben and Jerry's version. It's so good. I love mint. My addiction is mint chip. That's mine. And
I've got mint
cookies and
chip
cream.
Haagen-Dazs.
I hate you. Mean.
Sorry.
I'm mad now.
Sorry. But
I might have to go get some money out of my account so I can go buy me some damn Haagen-Dazs ice cream and mint chip ice cream at that.
well, when you work at a retail store, it was funny. I was literally like, I was heading to the back with some stuff, and I saw the Haagen-Dazs, and I knew we were going to be doing this episode. So I was like, oh, I have to get me some Haagen-Dazs to do a bit, because I can't not do a bit with Haagen-Dazs. So yeah, but
You did
as
the
they're
bit.
about to leave, Nicholas is at the door, and he's like, Hardison, because I forgot to mention this at the party. Parker,
Oh,
Hardison
right.
gets a bit jealous. And it's like, come on, seriously? And Parker's like, Hardison? And so Nicholas thinks that Parker's name's Hardison. Yes, I mean Haagen-Dazs during the live stream. I don't give a shit. Carrying on. But what's cool is what's interesting about the scene though is Parker, like, she shoves, I forget what she exactly does, but she basically gets Nicholas out of the door, goes through it herself, shuts it behind her. Which there is a union rule where you can't have kids watching a fight. So that's why they did that. But it also plays as like Parker was trying to like protect the kids.
Yeah, it was
Like,
a little bit of that was like a bit of an older sister moment.
yeah. So it's like keeping the kids out of the fight scene, but also playing character wise. So it made sense. Also, it's also interesting is analyzing the way Parker fights, because it's interesting as she uses more gymnastics type maneuvering.
Yeah.
Like she's cartwheeling, dodging. She's using more, she's like pulling herself up and using like momentum to like kick Nicholas back.
That was impressive.
And even using like the wound on Nicholas's shoulder from when she stabbed him, which is how she gains the upper hand.
Yep.
Which is different from how Elliot fights. Is that Elliot like uses more, like Parker uses more her legs and her feet, kind of, and uses more agility. Where Elliot, even though it may not seem like it because Parker is slightly taller than Elliot.
Just by a
Because-
little bit.
Yes. But because Elliot is bigger than Parker is and has more power, he fights with more endurance and strength. He's like using like elbows, knees. Like Parker uses more pressure points.
Yeah.
Down the shoulder.
I can't remember what exactly like fighting style that is that focuses on like pressure point maneuvers, but Elliot uses more
in
Kali.
the audio commentary, but I didn't write it down.
I can't remember what it is, but I know what you're talking about. But
I think
the way that Elliot fights,
really military though.
yeah, it's a military fighting style. It's a military combative program.
Something like
part
that,
of it. But Elliot uses the Kali fighting style.
Uses more Kali, like elbows.
Yeah, and
knees.
that's what Christian's trained in is Kali. And you could tell by the way that he moves that it's Kali. And I picked up on it pretty much easily.
Like Elliot has like more power behind his swings than Parker, but Parker compensates by using her skill set, which is agility. She's very agile and she's like still very strong because she can hang like from her fingertips for a very long time. As we see, she can hang like one armed. Like she can hang her body weight with one arm. And like pull herself up.
I looked up online what the fighting style that involves pressure points, and it's Kyusho Jiu-Jitsu. It's focusing just on your pressure points. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu uses full body pressure points and isolating a joint. And that's what Elliot uses usually.
Elliot uses, and that honestly is more probably a tap out job.
It's
with the MMA.
What he uses is mainly Jiu-Jitsu and Kali combined with a little bit of kickboxing mixed in.
Yeah.
Which explains how, I would explain like the fact that Christian actually trained a little bit with that. And in one of my favorite episodes ever, the Carnival Job, he fights a freaking MMA fighter.
That fight's rough.
Uriah Faber, yeah. And I bet Uriah taught him a few things. I bet Uriah taught him a few things about MMA.
When we get to that point, we're going to have to talk about the behind the scenes of like the anatomy of
murder the actor.
Especially when we get to oh yeah because freaking the note for the fight scene that in the House of Mirrors or the Hall of Mirrors fight scene in the Carnival Job between Elliot and Roper. T. Devlin literally says in the video, it's in the special features and you can find it on YouTube too. It's an anatomy of a fight scene and they talk about it and Christian goes into like how he planned the fight scene and that, and then Dean's at one point in the video is like holding his coffee cup and he's like, yeah, and try not to murder the actor. in the process.
And you're right, just looks at him and chuckles. And Christian just like, and then after like they have the special effects makeup on, he's like, this is what happens when you fight your right favor.
Harper. All right. Continuing on with the episode. We're getting close to being done, actually. Oh, damn. Sorry, I just saw the time. We're at like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm actually almost done with this episode.
That's awesome.
So,
Hey, we kept it
we're
under
rolling.
3
Rolling
we,
today.
we kept it under 3 hours.
Yeah, see? Cameron,
We can do
see,
it.
I told
Yeah,
you
we
we
can
could
do
do it.
Yeah,
I told
we
you I
can
could
it.
do it.
We did it.
It's not over yet, but we're making good headway. So, sorry, this is the whole discussion post
Yeah.
pre-stream. But as like Parker's getting the kids on like the staircase heading up, Sophie is like, Parker. And then she's like gesturing and comes, so like they get him up, but then like one of the kids making noise, like coughs or something. And the goons draw their guns and aim them at a group of children.
Yeah, that's not cool. Nope.
But luckily, no one gets shot off as a voice
Yeah.
comes over the speaker.
Okay.
Like
yeah,
that
it's like,
gets police basically.
yeah.
Because so they're freaking out, but that gives them enough time to like get the kids out.
Yeah.
Oh, it takes out a goon in the hallway.
Okay, going back to when she's in the room full of kids trying to figure out what to say, I wrote down what the translation was. It was like, oh, shiny tomato.
Shiny
In
tomato.
Russian. In Russian.
Well, men will disappoint you.
Ooh, I think this is the one where we get the burnt arm hair.
Oh yeah. Hold on. So they get in the truck, but then like they go for a bit, and then stop. And Parker's like yelling, like smacking on the van, like on the truck, like why are we stopping? The goons come out, including Nicholas, and like Nicholas and like their goons, they come out. They aim their guns, but they start firing it. But then like Parker uses herself as a shield, and like makes herself bigger to cover like the gap. And you can see like you hear the gunshots going off. Parker's flinching, and then she like starts like looking over herself, like, okay, there's no bullet holes, no blood. And then like she looks back at Sophie, and Sophie smiles and is like, prop truck. Yeah, I love like Sophie's like prop truck. And Nate's driving the truck, I should say. And even that Elliot like chuckles like and then we get a flashback to Elliot and Nate swapping out the guns for the guns with the blanks in them.
Yep, the prop weapons.
Yeah. And then like it goes back and they see Hardison walks in, remote in hand, like the dramatic motherfucker he is, and blows up the whole damn warehouse. And then he runs on and they go off, revealing that it was like they used the sound of like from the movie. Hang on a second. Hey, sorry about that. Anyways, so they drive off, and the goons are not happy with Nicholas. They're like, "Where's my money?" And you can see
And
Nicholas
then-
pops like, and then Bert money starts raining from the sky. But it was like a huge explosion, though. And this is the second time they set off an explosion in a port with little permission.
Yep.
Which do not do that. There's a reason why you gotta get permits for shit. And you gotta have professionals and a permission. So yeah. Do not set off explosions in heavily secured areas with no permission. So you could get in serious trouble. So don't do that. Anyways, carrying on. So at another warehouse, like they're making a plan, and Sophie's like, the kids are sleeping, which was really just to explain why they didn't have the child actors anymore.
Yep.
Which, I mean, they did go through a lot of excitement. So I suppose the adrenaline crash. So then, it's like, all right, we're going to change the license plate so we get a clean shot at the border. And it's like, Nate's like, they were going to turn the kids over to the World Health Organization. And Parker's like, what? And Nate's like, it's okay. Like, we called them. Like, they never going to be there. Like, it'll be okay. And then they also reveal that how they got Irina was the money that Harrison stole from the producer. They deposited it into Irina's account. And because the producer got like notified that a transfer occurred, he alerted the FBI, who then arrested Irina. It's funny, she's looking at like the ATM where like the money was all deposited, and she's like so happy, like money. But then like two cops come to like grab her and like they lock her arms, and she goes back and she's like yelling, like pointing at the ATM. She's speaking Russian, and I don't speak Russian, so I can't translate what she's saying.
Yeah. For all I know, she could be swearing in
Yeah,
Russian.
for all we cursing up a storm. I don't know.
I would not be surprised, Dean. I would not be surprised.
I mean, that is one way to do it. But fun fact, that little flashback was filmed by the scene of Irina being taken away was filmed by Jonathan Frakes. Because he Frakesy, yes. He apparently was like on set because he was shooting the next episode. So now I don't exactly know what it meant by next episode, if it meant like next episode, like DVD order or shooting wise, or I'm assuming shooting wise, but I don't know if it's episode 7. Because I think
Whatever the heck, the next episode after this one.
Yeah, whichever one they shot after this.
Yep.
Yeah. Totally not looking at IMDb. Okay. But then, like, Sophie, like, asks about like the reel for um like like the film for her reel, and it's but it's Nate and Elliot look at each other, and then Elliot's like, there was no film in the camera.
And poor Sophie.
So it's like, we are definitely it is the next episode, The Wedding Job. Directed by Frakesy. Okay. So yeah, Parker's like, oh no, sorry, not Parker. This episode, we are definitely stopping in Paris. But then like Nate looks at Elliot like, great, like no film in the camera. And Elliot's like, that wasn't my fucking idea. Don't put that shit on me. Like in the face is kind of what he's saying. Yes, I mean I'm still eating caramel Haagen-Dazs. Or dulce de leche.
Awesome.
Yeah. You know, Parker's like looks at Nate and is like, how did you know I'd be at the orphanage? And Nate's like, thank Hardison for that. So then Parker and Hardison talking. Hardison like kind of go to Parker a bit, like what were you thinking, going off by yourself? Like, did you even have an exit strategy? Parker's like, I didn't think that far ahead. And Harson's like, you don't work alone anymore. Like we're a team. But I missed this part too. Back when
We're a team.
it's because back on the pop truck,
That hurt.
Parker's like, yeah, you get it. Like we're a team, because Arson tells her like, no, Nate just wants to make sure that like we're with the program. And Parker's like, yeah, I know, we're a team. Sorry, jeez. And Harson's like, we're a little more than a team. And then Parker echoes that. She has a small smile on her face, and it's like, we're a little more than a team.
The little soft smile that she does. Yeah, I legit teared up at that.
Yeah. That's
Literally-
also when I started
I
shipping
was like-
pretzels.
Even now, I'm getting emotional.
I know. But also,
Literally the next part.
and then they get on the truck, and Parker's like, Nate, I gotta tell you something. Nate, no, Nate, we have to make a stop first. And it's like, what? And Parker's like, we have to stop at Haagen-Dazs. Now the kids yell, Haagen-Dazs!
Yep. That was my last note too.
And they're all laughing.
Ugh. I think they probably did stop at Haagen-Dazs because
I hope they
Ice
stop
cream.
at Haagen-Dazs.
it's freaking ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all my notes that I've got for right now.
And then, so I just have a couple of fun facts for this episode. So this episode actually started out as like a Nate and Sophie episode about Nate's issues with fatherhood, and it was supposed to like relate back to Sam, Nate's dead son. But it didn't, or they included some of it, which I wonder if they almost like, because you could see that like first scene when Nate's talking with Dana, how you got the impression that like even Nate's taken this a bit personally because a child's involved.
Yeah.
He was around Sam's age.
Oh, right.
But I'm wondering but I think because there are kind of a lot of more Nate centric episodes this season, so I'm not exactly sure why they ended up changing it to more of a Parker Hardison episode.
Either way, it's freaking cute as heck.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the episode where I started shipping pretzels. Though I'm not sure. I'll probably find it when, like, as we go through. But I don't know the moment I started shipping the OT3.
I know the moment that I started shipping them.
With the 3 hug walk away.
Uh-uh.
Oh. What is it?
It's the one where they all get kind of banged up, and Elliot's wearing the red shirt with like the Chinese symbol on the front, and he gets shot in the shoulder.
Rundown job?
And they're doing the arm hug walk away.
Oh, that bomb.
Yeah.
Bomb defusal scene when they go to
Yes.
that house and Hardison's on a pressure plate bomb. Like he stepped on the pressure plate, which activated the bomb.
That and also
That seems tense because Hardison stepped on the bomb.
Yep.
But it was fucking hot too.
I know.
Like Parker freaking using Hardison as a
Straddling him, yeah.
Like
that was actually kind of hot.
that also may have been the start of the whole like Parker
Hashtag partisan. Partisan.
Or pretzels, but also OT3 and also the idea that Parker and Hardison are freaky. Because you saw the way Hardison was looking at Parker when she was navigating that laser grid.
But yeah, my favorite episode's coming up a little bit further on.
12-step job.
How did you? Damn it, woman!
Gonna be on my last fun fact is Albert Kim, the director's daughter, is one of the orphans that appear.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Apparently, she's the I want to say, sorry, I want to say Korean. I feel really bad if I got that wrong because I didn't write it down. But yeah, she is one of the orphans in this scene, or in that scene. And also, this is the first time the director hasn't been a woman. The second time the director hasn't been a woman.
Awesome.
Which, yeah, I mean, because Homecoming Job was, it's gonna bug me now that I didn't write this down. This is really why I have dual monitors. Because you can look up shit as you go. Yeah, because the Nigerian Job was directed by Dean Devlin, who arguably is a person of color because he's half Filipino. The second episode was also directed by Dean Devlin.
Dean loves to blow crap up.
He does love blowing crap up. A 2-horse job was.
Oh, that one was an awesome one.
Yeah, 2-horse job was directed by Craig R. Baxley. But it was written by a woman, Melissa Glenn. Arvin Brown directed The Miracle Job. But Christine Boylan wrote the Miracle Job episode. Bank Shot Job was written by Amy Berg, so like, and Albert Kim is Asian. I feel bad that I cannot remember what they say in the audio commentary, but yeah. So yeah, this is because like the last couple episodes have been directed or not directed, written by women. So it's pretty cool. I'm gonna say that like, obviously it's not perfect, but one cool thing about Leverage is I believe they do try to, for the most part, balance out with the diversity. Obviously, this is 2008. It's not going to be perfect, but it's pretty okay for it being 2008. So good on Leverage. Yeah, that was all my notes. Do you have anything else you want to add about this episode?
Nope, I think that's it. But yeah, this was a really fun episode.
And it's also
It was weird seeing Parker in this light a little bit. It's not what I'm used to.
It is interesting, like going back to like seeing how like redemption, like with how the show ends and how redemption is going. It's interesting to just kind of see that parallel between them, where you see at the beginning, like as I kind of mentioned before, like season 1 Parker would not make the same decisions as redemption Parker.
Yeah, I think
Which-
now, like season 1 Parker is not as like aware of other
she's not
people.
aware of her full capacity.
Yeah, she's not as self-aware as Redemption Parker is, and that's where I can see the growth of her character, which I really, really appreciate, both in the
Like-
writing aspect and also because of how Beth portrayed her.
Yeah. Because season 1 Parker, even though like she's starting to get more comfortable with the team and they started doing this a while, just keep in mind there's also jobs that they're doing in between episodes, so we don't see all of them. So, but like seeing how like she's starting to like maybe she doesn't recognize that like they're a family yet, but Parker recognizes that like yeah, we're like more than a team, we're a unit.
The more than a team thing again.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well, it's the point. I mean, Hardison, it's more like maybe it's Hardison. It's more like a family thing because he is. You can see also how like he. It's more in another episode where Hardison really ups like how he like viewing Nate as like a parental figure or like a mentor. even Parker with using Sophie as like her mentor and parental figure. But then like I feel bad because then like Elliot gets kind of left out because like I mean I guess it makes sense character wise because Elliot's older than them
True.
and he has like a completely different skill set and he has a completely different has a bit of a different personality to Parker and Hardison. And he he doesn't need as much. See what's interesting though about the mentoring is it's not like that they learn anything or like they learn skill set wise. The things they learn through their mentorships is Parker and Hardison learn to be more themselves. Like Hardison will eventually learn forging, which comes into play. But what he learns more from Nate is it any skill with his computer. It's his skill, it's his mind.
Yeah.
Because as you'll kind of see here, Harson's main issue is yes, he is a genius. And yes, he is very smart and he's talented. But that in turn has made him overconfident. Because he is so good, he doesn't need to put in the he doesn't have to put in the work because he's just naturally talented. And it's cool is seeing him continue learning to put in the work and how to channel his genius and focus it. And with Parker, yeah, she learns more how to grift, but it's more, they kind of go hand in hand. She learns about people, how to have empathy, how to have sympathy, how to interact, how to understand people, which in turn teaches her how to grift better.
I loved that.
What I also love about Parker is she still gets to be Parker.
She's Parker, but
But they don't.
molded better a little bit.
She is. Like she's allowed to grow, but still like have those autistic coded traits.
I think that's why she's my favorite character because
Yeah.
I can relate to some
Yeah.
of her traits a little bit.
I've kind of said this before, but what I love about Parker is throughout they never tried to fix her.
They try to basically
They don't make her more
they try to
normal.
yeah, the way that I see it, they try to preserve who she is to make sure she remembers who she is. And I
But
love
they
that.
teach her how to act human, but it's not in like teaching her like that how to mask. They're teaching her how to channel it into being able to function more.
Yeah. It's how to dial into who she is, but being able to control it.
Yeah. Which now that I'm thinking about it goes into the whole control debate. Or not the debate, the control theme.
Yeah.
that happens. And not only this season, but in season 2, it becomes a bigger plot point
Oh yeah, definitely.
because you got Hardison, or you got Nate replacing his drinking with control. You have Sophie trying
Yeah,
to control her
he
identity,
he gets
control her
grumpy.
image, and not control the world around her, but control her world.
Yeah.
You have Parker learning to control her. It is kind of like learning how to control her quirks a bit.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's more control her urges to do
Yeah.
out of the box things.
Yeah. And Elliot, his whole being is about control, which that I'll also get into more later.
But with Elliot, it's controlled chaos.
Fair. But with Hardison, it's controlling his genius and learning how to channel it. So each
Oh, that
character.
poor kid. Yeah, that poor kid doesn't know how to like relax until later on, because Elliot shows him how to let go, and he teaches him a thing or two.
But it's also, because if you think about it, like with Parker being autistic coded, it is very easy that like Hardison could have ADHD.
Oh, I've even like it's on my Tumblr. It's been canon that he's got ADHD, and it's proven. He's got an
I guess
obsession with.
argue like
He's got his
Elliot
safe
has
drink. Yeah, he's got his hyper focus of computers and technology, and he's also got
comics.
true, comics, and then his obsession with his safe drink of orange soda.
He has a safe drink. He has
Yep.
a safe food.
True.
Gummy frogs.
Exactly.
He has focus issues.
Yep.
I'm literally quoting him in the first episode.
Yeah. No wonder. No wonder I relate to Hardison so much.
I think it also be argued that like Elliot could have some form of, well, I think obviously the big one's PTSD,
Yeah.
but
And he's got a little bit of anxiety of letting
so I
his guard
think it
down.
could also be like odd. Could Elliot?
Possibly. He's
But
got a little. Yeah, he's
because
got.
it presents differently in everybody.
Yeah, it presents differently in each and every person, but they are all unique in their own way, which I really love.
Nate could also arguably be autistic coded with his whole like being able to create like plans in his head and able to.
Yeah. They're all, in my mind, they're all neurodivergent in some way.
Some capacity.
Yeah, they're in my mind. I think that's why it's my like safe thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is my like safe show. Oh no. No, no, why are you doing that? Hold on. Some hold on. Something's going on. We'll be back in a moment. I don't know what's going on. So, Alex's laptop died. So, we need a minute. Hold on. Okay, just gotta wait for. Oh, hold on. Hold on. We got technical difficulties. Hold on. Alright, it's probably gonna be a minute. Because Alex's laptop died. So that probably means she has to plug it in. And they usually take a minute to boot back up after you plug them in. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Hang on. Hold on, I gotta do a thing. Hang on. Come on. Come. Hold on. Hold on. We're gonna try and get Alex back in here. Sorry, it's taking a minute. There we go. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if Alex can get back on. Come on. Sorry, I'm impatient. I'm sorry, I know. Sorry, we have some technical difficulties here. Hold on. I think we're almost there. Come on. Nope, hold on. There we go. What was going on?
I have no idea.
Are you good now?
Yeah, one sec.
Alright.
That was weird.
Alright. So, did you? Alright. I kind of said all my notes. Do you have any more notes or any like final thoughts?
Nope. That was all mine.
I kind of said all mine too. So, I am going to go ahead and start wrapping this up then. See, I kept it 3 hours. Alright, so I want to thank our parent company, nowco.org. Also, like to thank our design consultants, westpasystems.com. You could also view my website, kaylasantelacting.com, where you can see my credits and other projects I'm working on, as well as learn more a bit about me. You can also follow me on Twitter at MissMovieFan_67. You could follow me on TikTok at MovieFan 67. You can also follow Alex on Instagram at AlexCooper7241, Twitter at AlexThe_AlleyCat, and TikTok at AlexTheAlleyCat. So, the next time you will see us, we will be back talking. Almost Paradise, Season 1, Episode 5, Unbecoming, which
That's a
is,
good one.
it is a good one, and it is action-packed and fast-paced. Because once it gets going, oh boy, does it get going. And the next Leverage episode is The Wedding Job, which is going to be fun
Yep.
because we get to learn of a hidden talent of Elliot's and a surprising connection to supernatural. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, there's a quote when Elliot says in the wedding job, but the only thing I know how to do is bust heads. Well, when the Supernatural episode Last Call aired, you remember how Andrew Dabb would go on Twitter and say like a quote that was relevant to the episode?
Yeah.
When Last Call aired, which, as you know, starred Christian Kane, or guest starred Christian Kane, I should say. That was the quote he used. Was, what, you think the only thing I know how to do is bust heads? And what was funny, because I was watching Leverage too before I watched that episode, so I knew that quote. And I remember distinctively, I saw that tweet, and I was freaking out because I was like, oh, that's another quote from Leverage. That's a Leverage quote.
That's freaking hilarious. And you just said his word, by the way.
No, I did. But yeah. So yeah, that's the reference.
That's gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun. And I probably will be talking about Kane's case. It's going to be a good time. All right, since that is everything, thank you all so much for watching. If you are listening to the recording, make sure to follow, leave a review, and also follow my socials so you know when the next live stream is. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.